A shave and a haircut might usually cost 2 bits, but here at this Barber, a good seat is free when you catch it on GSRC. You'll no doubt see a few close shaves with the powerful GTE cars plying their trade on this twisty and rolling track. The question is, how close do these drivers dare to race each other? Passing is notoriously difficult here, and opportunities to improve your position might be few and far between. We'll see who grids up in the ideal spots as we get ready to watch round 2 of the Precision Racing League's American iRacing Tuesday Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hi, I'm Sean Ambrose, and with me in the booth is Taylor Burris. Behind the scenes directing tonight is actually Joe Peak. We put him behind the board there, and he's pushing and twisting the knobs for us tonight, and also using those cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Taylor, I know this is a newer track in the iRacing world, but I think it ought to become a classic. Tell us a little bit about Barber, please.
Well, of course, and welcome everyone to Sweet Home Alabama's Barber Motorsports Park. Located in Leeds, Alabama, United States, this 2.3-mile or 16-turn track is by far one of a fan favorite for sports car racing and IndyCar fans alike. Of course, motor racing here has been starting since 2003. The tight and twisty corners and roller coaster-like feel of this track is a challenge for many, even the most veteran of drivers. To give you, the fan, to see what it is like to take on this Alabama roller coaster, let's hop on board for a GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Taylor Burris in the GSRC 4 GT, so let's do a lap around Barber. Down into turn 1, the drop in elevation and rapid pace makes it pretty difficult to make a pass into here. Plus, you immediately switch directions to head through the Alabama roller coaster. Drivers will want to tend to take this as a double apexer, but also swing wide at the exit because you need every bit of track on your way through 4. The car gets super light here. Then, coming back to the right, you've got one of the few good passing opportunities under braking into Charlotte's Web. But the way the track falls away, it's very easy to outbrake yourself into this hairpin. Bleed back onto the power as the corner opens up on the exit, and then we've got another little stretch before Museum Corner. This is a wicked triple apex chicane that's totally blind on the way in and should be taken single file if you're smart. Pass attempts into here almost never go well. As you hit the bottom of the hill, you'll switch sides once more, and then you've got the swift S's along the back half of the course. Avoid taking too much of these curbs or else you risk unsettling the car. The switchbacks aren't done yet either because 12 and 13 are just as tricky. It's mainly the exit of 13 with that huge hump which tends to catch drivers out. You'll be begging for traction as you try to find the power, but you're also smacked in the face with the long arc of 14 and 15. It forces you to slow the car as it's turning all the way around down to that late apex. But you've got to hug the right side because you want to ensure you carry a ton of speed through the final corner onto the front stretch. Try not to understeer off, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Barber.
And race fans, that lap guide and everything you see here on Tuesday nights with the Precision Racing League, brought to you by Simulation Motorsports Association. It is a sim racing platform created by experienced racers. Established in 2015, the association is bringing together organizations and communities to further promote sim racing globally. Concentrating on all sims worldwide, they offer a focused opportunity for sim racers to compete with each other. They also provide consultancy services for the growing esports world. SIMSA offers solutions for racing simulator requirements, custom-built simulator parts, complete customization and upgrading of existing simulators. You can find them at simsa.net. SIMMSA.net. And now, Taylor, let's look at those championship points. Let's pull those up here and get everybody where we're at here in round 2. Carl Motive on top here, leading initially, just 4 points ahead of Koriat. And, well, the Iceman sitting there in third, close behind Simon Avanti. He is there in fourth, and there we go, Francisco Montini. Rounding out your top 5, and that is the driver standings currently. Now, this is a single-class GTE race, so those are your standings currently. And, well, you know what, Taylor, we get through the standings. Obviously, the season just fresh upon us. Probably a lot of fresh faces watching this one tonight. why don't we go ahead and look at the Teams Championship real quick, get them familiar with that. Team Bushfink on top right now. Now, they're only 10 points ahead of the Ricmo Tech SimSport team there, SDS Racing Team, only 5 points back now. Those three obviously got off to a good start, 4th and 5th. They need a little bit of work here to kind of get back into things. Andy's team, Condor, rounding out your top 5 there in the team standings. And now, Taylor, we can probably talk about the race details this evening. And you can get some of these fans checking in for the first time a little bit familiar with how we do things here in the Precision Racing League.
Of course, and everyone, this is round 2 of an 8-race season of season 15. The cars that you see on track are the GTE base cars, such as the Porsche 911, the Ferrari 488, and the Ford GT. All the races that you'll see here will be 45 minutes, but with 1 pit stop included. These setups, though, these drivers can make tweaks and tweak on the cars to make the cars setup feel right here. But, of course, the fuel will be restricted in order to have that 1 pit stop. And then another thing is the incident cap limit, 24 incident points. So that means if you either go off course, hit another car, hit a barrier, that incident cap will keep going up until you hit that mark to where you're then disqualified. So these drivers are going to have to be real careful here tonight at Barber.
Oh no, the dreaded DQ. We certainly don't want to find any of those. Well, you know what? Speaking of finding things, if you found us here on the iRacing Esports Network, well, then you're home. Right here, plenty of racing for you, 7 days a week. The iRacing Esports Network, new to the YouTube streaming community, and we're glad to be a part of it here at the Global Sim Racing Channel. We're there with several other broadcasters here for 2019, bringing you all kinds of great sim racing here on the iRacing service. Taylor, let's talk a little bit about this track, Barber Motorsports Park, and maybe some of the keys to the race. I know you always focus on those, and we'll let you talk about it a little bit right now.
One of the things is, like we were talking about in our intro, this is a major roller coaster type track. A lot of banking, as you see right now with Federico Montini going through the Alabama roller coaster right now. But one thing drivers are going to have to keep their eyes on is that it's very tight. So side-by-side racing, especially going through Museum Corner, drivers are going to have to keep alert to make sure, hey, there's no one on my outside or inside, because that could cause serious incidents. Another point also is going to be making sure of braking. A lot of hard braking zones throughout the area, especially going into Charlotte's Web, that downhill corner. So drivers are going to have to be careful with that and keeping an eye on things. And then, of course, it's a new season. Second race. We had a long time of vacation, 2 weeks off before we get to our current race. We were here tonight. So it's time to shake the dust off, shake that rust, get ready to go racing, and focus on trying to gain as many points as they can tonight. A lot of drivers had not so good runs in the first round, so drivers need to be capitalizing here tonight at Barber, or Sean.
Yeah, I know. I'm still confused too. It's okay, Taylor. So we had some last-minute changes to the lineup, and Joe, as I said in the intro, is stepped behind the camera tonight and will be directing, and I'm sitting in his place here. But listen, this a tricky course. Really, some pretty good danger spots. We talk about just right off the start-finish line, getting down into turn 1. That left-hander, a bit of a trick, and look for everybody to get stacked up there. Then you head over to turn 4, Museum Corner, turns 10 and 11, turns 12 and 13. There's really danger all around this track if you're not careful. And, well, side-by-side racing can be really tough here, even pulling off a pass. So looking at qualifying right now, really that's your best bet here is to start off with a good qualifying effort. We've got only 3 minutes left, and it's Eisler at the top right now. Corey Ott sitting there in second in his Ferrari. And you got to go all the way back to third to find Modoff in the first Porsche there in the top 5.
Yeah, but keep your eye on Carl Modoff. He is on a little bit of a high right now. Of course, he finished second in the points championship last season, but did pick up the win at the season opener at Imola. So he is, like we were discussing in the points, our current points leader. He's got momentum on his side even after that 2 weeks vacation. Keep an eye on him tonight. He will definitely give the 2 Bushfink drivers of Eisler and Ott a run for their money tonight. And don't forget about Valenzuela. Really good effort right now here tonight. Currently in the 6th position in qualifying. Just set it. So that is a phenomenal lap time.
Not bad at all. You know, we got to talk about the Montini brothers, Federico and Francisco. Right now, Federico has the edge, sitting in P4, and Francisco P11, just outside the top 10. Taylor, I want to start inside this top 10 tonight, honestly. Ooh, look at that. Carl Modov just jumps up the board, and he goes to P2, dropping Kvyat down to P3.
Yeah, give it a little time. We still have about a minute 50 left on the clock. If he can get to the line, I'm pretty sure he may give Christian Eisler a run for his money in the times.
Well, Eisler's brought the car back out on track. I think he's just getting some practice in, honestly. It's only 2 1,000ths of a second that separate him and Carl Modov at the moment. Modov out there taking another stab at it. Will we see the pole position topple here? I don't know. It right now is the battle of the Porsche and the Ferrari. Ooh, and Francisco Montini comes up the board out of that P11 spot up to P5. That's a good run for him, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. The Montini brothers are going to be, looks like, starting side by side almost, or at least nose to tail when we go to start this race. So definitely keep an eye on these two. Kvyat going a little off course right now, but here he comes, Carl Modov. He's coming out of the final corner down the front straightaway. Let's see what his time is as he crosses the line. And 18:43, he does not improve, and he still has a chance to maybe get one more lap. We still have about 40 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I guess he's going to get one more run at it here. And I think, is Eisler going to have time? I think Eisler's going to have time to defend, maybe put a better time up.
He's going to try by the looks of it. He just now went through Charlotte's Web and making the run towards Museum. Let's see if there's any other drivers on track who might be able to set a time.
Right now, let's see here. We've got, who's the number 30 there coming across? It would be
Takeshi
Kita getting one in.
Nope, he is pitting.
Okay, there's the 5. Federico, he's in. Okay.
Carl Modov decides to pull it in.
Ellison's coming around to complete his lap. He's currently in P16.
Picks it up.
And that takes it to P13. Good job by Thomas.
Yeah,
here comes Eisler one last time here. Oh, he decided to pit. There we go. Kvyat's coming through. Here comes the Ferrari now. And what do we got? Oh, Kvyat goes to the pole.
Wow.
118.289.
Very impressive. Justin Hall decides to take it into pits.
Comes Jerome. His last lap here. His Ford GT. That's a good effort there. D jumps to P13. That's a good one for him. And I think that's about it. Let's see here. Tracking anybody now. 30 seconds left. I do see Jean-Marc Tremblay out on track, but I don't know if he's going to get to finish this one. In fact, I don't think he is. So let's go ahead and go to the grid here, Taylor. We're ready to go. Everybody's got their qualifying laps in. Most everybody anyway. In fact, all the drivers, all 34 of them have taken a qualifying time. Here we go with the grid on the pole. This evening, it's going to be Kvyat just jumping up there on row 1. Christian Eisler rounding out that first row. Carl Modov and Federico Montini. They're on row 4. I'm sorry, on row 2. Row 3 going to be Francisco Montini and Jorge Flores. Row 4, Mike Griffith, Cristobal Valenzuela. Row 5 and starting in 9th, Jean-Marc Tremblay and Tyler Desaubay. Rounding out your top 10, Taylor.
Starting in the 11th position will be Lee Lucas, followed by Simon Avital in 12th. Jerome Buffane will start in the 13th position, followed by Thomas Ellison in 14th. Rodrigo Munoz will start in the 15th position, followed by Justin Hall in 16th. Fernando Borda will start in 17th position, followed by Michael Derby. Lyndon Swaby will start in 19th position, and rounding out your top 20, Sebastian Masseri.
Okay, and Sebastian looking for a good run out of him this evening. And going back to row 11, it's going to be Leif Peterson. Corey Clark starting 22nd, row 12. Takeshi Kita. Elijah Bautista starting 24th tonight. In row 13, it's going to be the number 180 of Carl Schwing. And Danny Duchesne going to start 26th tonight in his number 27 for GTE. Row 14 going to be Aaron Thacker starting 27th. James LeBlanc 28th tonight in the 007. Row 15, Kieran Andrew and Hugo Galaz starting 30th. I'll take the last few here. We've got 31st going to Lucio Vargas and Joey Trungate in 32nd. Row 17 going to be Karsten Quint, and Nicholas Schmeg is going to start 34th tonight in the number 13th. Nick, of course, a GSRC commentator, and we wish him well. No commentator's curse for him tonight. Certainly that is our hope as we get ready. The grid all setting in, everybody getting ready to fire them up. The pace car, the roof pace car, waiting patiently for every driver to get here. Taylor, you got a pick tonight? You got a favorite?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to really go. I mean, I love Carl Modoff. He is definitely one to keep an eye on. But you know what? The Iceman deserves to get another shot at this championship. He's been denied several times. I think it's his turn to take the win tonight and make the run for that championship.
All right. Well, you know, boy, I like the speed out of this Corey Ott fella. Boy, he's going to be hard to beat from the pole. But you know what? You got to run all of these laps. And, well, we'll see if he can hang on. You know, honestly, I like the Montini brothers. One of them. Can I just say Montini? And is that fair? Can we do that, Taylor?
Yeah.
Can I just say Montini?
All
right, Monty. Someone named Montini will win this race, in my humble opinion. So I don't know if that's an expert opinion, but it's my opinion. So there we go. All right, everybody rolling, ready to go here. Behind the pace car, Eisler settled in. Corey Ott settled in. HJ Motorsports, all their Ferraris and Fords back there, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised about fan favorite Mr. Consistency, Aaron Thacker, starting way in the back, outside the top 25. Let's see if he can get his way back up. And then also we got to keep an eye on another fan favorite, Mr. Where Did He Come From? Takeshi Kita. He's going to be working his way back up through the field tonight. So this will be some fun drivers to watch here at Barber. And then, of course, Autobahn driver Leif Peterson. He's going to be doing a great job here tonight as well. And then fly all the way over from Silverstone to get to the Barber race here tonight.
Well, Bushfink got this front row locked out. And it's going to be up to Corey Ott and Christian Eiser to get this race started off accordingly. We'll see if these teammates will play nice heading down into turn one. Modoff, Montini on that second row. Federico Montini, his brother Francisco just there behind him. Taylor, the roof coming around, getting ready to peel off here. I think the pace car driver might have had a cocktail this evening. But here we go. Corey Ott, ready to go. Waiting for that green flag. We're mean green and underway. Here we go in the Precision Racing League GTE Tuesday night. Corey Ott with a great start. Modoff.
3 wide in turn
one.
We got an issue between Jorge Flores as well as one of the Montini brothers. Trying to figure out which one it was, but it was 3 wide into turn 1, something you definitely do not do. That was just quite interesting. It looked like Mike Griff decided to take Jorge Flores and one of the Montini brothers 3 wide. I believe it was Francisco.
Well, we will indeed get back to that at some point later on, but right now the battle up front gone line is stern. Corey Ott leading everybody. Modoff off that start does a great job of getting by Eiser. Federico Montini hanging down 4th. Mike Griffith already up 2 spots, and Jean-Marc Tremblay, another driver, up several spots, up 3. That's your top 6 here, and the front of the field kind of starting to spread out, and like I said, take it in a line here, Taylor. Everybody behind still fighting, though. I'm seeing some good battle at the mid-pack right now.
Yeah, there's a battle for right now in between Cristobal Valenzuela for the 8th position and Simon Avital, the Ferrari of the number 23 and the Porsche of the number 333, as they're now making their way through the final corner of turn 16. Looks like Cristobal was able to pull away as Eisler had a problem. What would happen there?
The Iceman. Wow, the Iceman with big trouble. In fact, that car is hurt. And he's letting a lot of traffic get by. Dropped all the way down the field. We've got a replay of it here. And you know what, Taylor? It looks like he just gets a little bit of the grass coming off that turn. He gets a little wide. He's going to drop that right rear off, and that gets him around.
Yeah, unfortunate. Wow. Well, there goes my pick for the night. But Iceman has the grass bit him a little bit too slippery for him. Man,
that is a huge mistake. And now Modolf putting the pressure up front on Kvyat. Wow, everybody in this field all of a sudden feeling a sigh of relief as the Iceman is in trouble. And I think we had a problem with Peterson just a moment ago. I'm not sure. Trying to pick that up here.
And he went a little bit offline. This was going into the museum corner, just overshot the last section of it, winning into the grass, unable to continue on. But still, a lot of time and a lot of positions lost.
Yeah, and behind him, Rodrigo Munoz just had a moment which Aaron Thacker had to react to, and it's kind of slowed Thacker down just a little bit. Thacker was making a charge, and Munoz, on the other hand, has dropped back 6 spots already. So Munoz struggling early here. Now Bautista's got a problem. In fact, he's got a big problem here on the front straight. And I got to be honest, it looks a little familiar there, Taylor.
Yeah, Bautista was going through the final corners, and it looks like same thing as Christian Eisler. Just flipped the grass a little bit too much and just lost control of the car. That's just something you have a very difficult time with. You got to keep an eye on that. Otherwise, he was able to save it, though, compared to Christian Eisler.
Yep, same play, different driver, unfortunately. And now we've got the field spread out. I wonder, should we go back and take a look here at what happened off the start real quick? We can do that, and we'll do it now. Obviously, Taylor, big melee. You said they were going 3 wide. Here it is.
Yeah, this was on the start. You see Jorge Flores along with the Montini brother of Francisco, along with Mike Griffith. You see the two going side by side. He looks to the inside. Then Mike Griffith decides to slide his Porsche right underneath. You don't do that here, especially on turn 1. Surprising nobody else got caught up in this melee. And then you see him going 3 wide again and through the Alabama roller coaster.
Man, does anybody win a race turn 1, lap 1? I don't know.
I've never seen it happen.
Back up front, though, Kvyat, Karl Modolf still battling. Modolf has closed the gap. He's riding right up on the gearbox of that Ferrari now.
Karl Modolf sneaking around, trying to get right to the back bumper of that Ferrari. They make their ways through turns 9 and 10. You got to be careful with that section right there that they just went over. Going over that curb a little too much can cause the car to wash up and go into the grass, which is something you definitely do not want to have happen. Especially we saw what happened to Eisler and Bautista.
And, Modolf, I think Modolf playing the long game here. He's not in any big hurry. The only thing he's focused on right now is that rear wing of Kvyat, and I think he's pretty happy to follow here. At the moment, they've dropped Federico Montini, and Mike Griffith left them to their own designs. They've got their own little battle going on back there for P3.
Porsche versus Ferrari. Mike Griffith sneaking in right to the back bumper of Federico as they make the run downhill towards Charlotte's Web. Montini has a nice tight line between these two. Mike Griffith, though, closes in the second half of that corner. It's the funny thing with that Charlotte's Web is 2 apexes that you make sure you have to hit in order to get a good run to the run down towards Museum. And drivers, we see Mike Griffith able to pull. Oh, there goes Montini. He gets loose. Oh, hits the grass hard.
I think he's going to get a cutting the course for that. Maybe have to slow down just a bit, but what a wild ride for Federico Montini.
Really good save. And got a little bit of airtime, too, with that.
Wow. All four wheels up off the ground. Here we're going to ride on board with Federico now. Man, that was an adventure. I'm shocked he was able to keep the car going, though. I mean, all he did was give up a little bit of position to Griffith, but here he goes with the wild slide and ride down through the grass. And you said it, Taylor. What an amazing save.
All I got to say is I would hate to see if he had a motion rig, because that jolt right there probably would hurt a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that wild ride did pick up quite a bit of damage on the car. I'm afraid it's going to hurt his pace. I mean, he's still holding on to Griffith, but here comes Jorge Flores, who is starting to get a run at him. And again, I'm afraid Federico's top speed going to be hurt by this damage that he's got all up and down the left side of the car.
Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of damage to the under tray of that car and diffuser as well. So it is going to affect the aerodynamics majorly, especially on the straightaway. I tell you what, though, there's quite a battle going on right now for P8. We see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars at least lined up nose to tail as they make the run down towards Museum Corner. The current leader of that is Cristobal Valenzuela in that 333 car. Really good job of him holding off Thomas Ellison and Lee Lucas, as Lucas now takes a peek to the outside as they make the run towards 9 and 10.
Yeah, that's about a 10-car train right there, and you go all the way back from what is that? From Cristobal Valenzuela all the way back to Takeshi Kita almost. I mean, that is a giant group of cars that have all managed to keep each other at arm's length, and great racing there. I imagine the worm's got to turn at some point. Somebody's got to take one of those positions away, and I'm starting to wonder. I'm seeing a little bit of pressure here from Lee Lucas on that HJ Motorsports car of Thomas Ellison. And you know what, Taylor, I was going to ask you something a moment ago. Why are the Fords struggling here? Our top Ford right now is in P12, Jerome.
It has to be something with the setup. This is, though, a tight, twisty track. These Fords are a little bit known for their better with the straight line speed compared to, like, with a Ferrari. You will most likely see a Porsche, as we see it right in front. Tyler Dezube having a look underneath Lucas.
Oh, our leader in trouble. Corey just gets run into by Carl Modoff. Modoff's going to let him get going again, but they were heading into the turn, heading down into the just into turn 8. We've got a replay of it here for you, man. This Modoff just gets in hot. I think he missed the braking zone.
He did. He missed the braking zone by quite a bit, plus went over one of the curbings as they see the run now towards the Museum Corner. We see there Corey hits his braking mark, and then you see Carl let off a little bit and then to get back on it, causing contact between him and Corey Corey might, as we get another replay.
One more good look at it
board.
Yep, on board with Carl. We'll see exactly how hot he got in. I think it was a combination of both. Maybe a little bit of misjudgment on the braking in front of him and his line. But he obviously messed his line up there just a bit, going high curve on that. And Carl going to pick up a little bit of front end damage. But as we go back live, it hasn't mattered much. Corriat, well, still in lead. Modoff keeping pace with him, though. Modoff let him have it back. But what this has done is this has brought in Mike Griffith. Griffith is part of this conversation now as the top 3 is your battle. Federico Montini and Jorge Flores. Round out your top 5. They're back.
Oh, there he goes off again.
Modoff goes off again. Exactly, Taylor.
Yep, Corey also goes off. He's got to get the slowdown penalty. That's going to maybe lose him to 3rd position, maybe, because here comes Mike Griffith through the 9 and 10 chicane. He's able to hold him off surprisingly. I got to give credit to Corey on that.
So Modoff finally gets the spot after making his own mistake, and Corey makes a small one in there and has to pay for it. So let's see how Corey does in the role of the chaser. Let's see what Modoff can do now that he's got the lead and clean air in front of him. In fact, not seeing any traffic yet. I think it's going to be a little while before we pick that up, but Quality Christian Iso, I believe, is at the back of this field now, Taylor, after rejoining everyone.
Yeah, he needs to get back out there to try to gain as many points as he can in order to try and close in Even though he's not going to get a win or a top 5 probably, he needs to stop the bleeding as best he can, currently running in 33rd position.
And we've got a couple cars pitting right now, both with damage. Sebastian Maciera, and I believe that was the Ferrari of Francisco Montini. Got to be honest with him, I did not pick up their incident. I don't know where it happened. In fact, I'm not picking it up on my my replay now. Both cars appear to have some damage. I don't think these are scheduled stops. They found trouble on track.
No, the scheduled stop, I think pit road should be open in the next 3 minutes or so to where the pit window should start. As we see right there, there's Christian Eisler. Completely nose is torn off complete, and the hood as well, so it's a real surprise he's still out there on track, though. He was able to gain a couple of spots, though, when those two decided to come down pit road.
This battle for 11th heating up here. It's the Ford GTE, the Porsche. It's a good one now. Jerome got this and had a good race so far. He's picked up a few spots, but Fernando Borda, he is up 5 after starting that P17 position.
Yeah,
Borda looking solid here early.
Yeah, he has a real good run. He gets a great run out of the Alabama roller coaster. Might be able to close in as they make the run down towards Charlotte's Web. It looks like Jerome was able to get a pull away just a little bit right in front of them. Oh, as we see Jerome like to get a little bit loose. Lucas goes a little bit offline as well. Right in front of them, there was a nice battle between Ellison and Valenzuela. That's the battle for P8. Both of those drivers are closing in as well. They make the run down towards Museum Corner. And it still looks like Ellison might be able to hold him off for a little bit. A couple of car lengths ahead.
You know, this is a home track for Porsche, Taylor. This, of course, the home of the Porsche driving experience here at Barber Motorsports Park. Got a couple friends that have done that a few times. Very popular destination point here in Alabama, along with another place, little place called Talladega. Really small place, just a blip on the map.
It is, just a small place. But I also remember hearing about this is where they did the Porsche driving racing school as well for the junior drivers, and it's quite an experience to listen and watch those guys.
Lyndon Swaby, I think he may be one of our first ones here coming in. Lyndon, that car looks fine. This is going to be a scheduled pit stop for Swaby as he rolls down the pit lane in his Kinetic Racing Porsche. In the box. Taylor, we're going to mess with tires today. We're just going to get our fuel and go.
Just going to be getting our fuel and go. No issue at all for the Canadian. Of course, he has the Jamaican flag on there as well, so got to give... I really love how they do that with Kinetic, where they have the flags on each of their drivers to go back to where they go as far as their home state or home country. So we have a battle for P15 going on right now.
It's Kita. There's our friend Takeshi Kita trying to hold off this charge by Corey Clark. Clark's up 6 positions in his Porsche. A very colorful car there by Corey Clark, the Georgian. That's not the country of Georgia, but the state of Georgia here in the United States. Is Georgia still a country, or is that a city? I can't remember now. Jeez.
It's a country.
Yeah, it's that whole breakup of the Soviet Union still messes with me, man. Yeah, we got another car pitting now. There goes Justin Hall. HJ Motorsports starting to kind of play out their plan a little bit here as he takes his Ford GTE down the pit lane.
Yeah, Justin Hall is another one of those drivers who runs top 15, top 12 for the majority of the races. Does a real good job for the Florida native coming down to make his first stop and only stop for the race. Another driver coming off pit road as we have a battle for P9 going on right now.
Yes, sir. And Cristobal Valenzuela, he's trying to hold off Corey Clark. Now we talked about, he's trying to hold off Lee Lucas. I'm missing up on my timing and scoring here, but Lee has got him in sights as his Porsche on Porsche battle. Lee getting hard on those brakes.
He may try a crossover move on the inside.
Cristobal smoking him. Cristobal blocks him off there, gets back into the driving line, hit that curb really hard, but keeps the car settled and in line. Lee not able to get the run at him there.
Oh, he might get it though here as they make the run uphill. He's gonna look to the inside. none. And Jerome's looking on as well, wondering, see who's going to make that major mistake for him to capitalize. As right behind him, Fernando Borda gets late on the brakes to get to his back bumper of that Ford GT.
Michael Derby in. So the dominoes definitely starting to fall, but not for any of our leaders at the moment. We're going to go back to that Kita battle, man. I'm sorry, Valenzuela. Trying to hold off Lee Lucas. I don't mean to jump everybody around, but Lee Lucas almost just ran Valenzuela over. It was to avoid contact.
Ooh, it's both of them.
Yeah, both of them just smoking him there down in the turn.
Yeah, that corner is such a hard braking zone, Charlotte's Web. And then, of course, you have to turn it multiple times in order just to make the corner. And, of course, here's another hard braking zone, the museum corner. It looks like Lucas is going to try to undercut again, maybe, as we see Valenzuela gets a little bit loose, gets the car squirrely, but is able to get back into the racing line through the chicanes of 9 and 10. And he's going to try to poke his nose, but he just cannot find a way to make that pass work.
You know, we talked about Lyndon Swaby just a moment ago. Swaby just made a pass on Eisler. Now, we know Eisler's car is damaged, but Swaby, fresh out of that pit stop, it was a close moment for Swaby. In fact, they almost came together, and I think that might have resulted in an ended race there for Lyndon Swaby. He was driving it hard, maybe a little bit too hard, but here's the replay. I just happened to catch this one out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, it's just like poor Christian. I don't think Christian knew he was there, to be honest with you. And I think Swaby realized it, and he almost realized it way too late. All right, back live now. Thanks to our director for catching that one. Listen, folks, the story up front still the same. Karl Modoff still ahead of Koriat. Koriat not been able to take that back. Modoff dealing with a little bit of front end damage. Has been able to keep pace. Of course, back in our last race, Modoff was the faster driver, but you know what? Koriat in a safe position. That gap still just a little over a half a second, so nothing lost, not much gained at the moment. Still about 20 laps to go in this race, so plenty of time in a pit stop still to settle things. The top 23 all still waiting to come into the pit lane, Taylor.
Yeah, we're waiting for our front runners right now. The times between these two is very close indeed. Modoff ran a 19:23 compared to Corey Ott's 19:25. So these two drivers are fairly evenly matched as they make the run down. Ooh, we see Corey Ott get a little bit loose through there as the car starts to slide through Charlotte's Web.
You know, the funny thing is I think it was kind of, pardon the phrase, but monkey see, monkey do, because Modoff was a little loose off too, but he recovered from it, able to get the wheels
contact back in Charlotte's Web. Lee Lucas and Jerome Briffier as well make contact.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them in the grass.
Yeah, and you know, it looked like for a moment they were going to get it straightened out, but then they both wind up off in the grass there, like you said. Jerome Barthum, unfortunately, well, I think he might have just put that car in a little bit too hot where it shouldn't have been. And then we get a little bit of contact. You know, it could have been much, much worse here. I think both are going to recover from this and survive okay. Well, a little bit of damage on the right side of Jerome's car, a little bit of left side damage on Lee's car, but I think they'll recover and still look for a chance and a good result. We'll go on board with Fernando Borda. He got a good look at it, Taylor.
Yes, indeed, he did. As he looks on and sees the two make contact, he just sneaks to the inside and says, "Thank you all very much. I will continue on." And Borda goes on unscathed.
All right, good stuff. P5 heating up just a little bit. Jean-Marc Tremblay is, boy, I'll tell you what, driver of the Canadians had a decent race, and he's pressuring Flores just a bit here. In fact, their time's very, very close, only separated by 0.3 of a second on that last lap.
Yeah, both of these two are teammates running right now as they make the run downhill through Museum Corner. It looked like Flores made a better exit off the corner. Seeing Flores the last time before this season started was at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, and he was just an absolute rocket until he ran into some issues with lap traffic, causing him to be taken out of the race when he was leading. So seeing him back here with the...
You know, Taylor, one of the things I've always had trouble understanding is the multi-manufacturer team.
Yeah.
How do you share data? You don't. So I guess what you need is multiple drivers for each manufacturer, so somebody can share the data along the way.
It is. I mean, look at teams like HJ Motorsports. They have a Porsche, 2 Fords, and a couple of Ferraris. So talk about a wide variety of different cars.
The battle for the lead's back on. Hey, Kvyat just stuck his nose. You know what? I'm sorry. My bad. That was Eisler. That was a mix-up of Bushvink cars. As Kvyat made his way by Eisler, Eisler kind of gave him a little bit of a fight. It was kind of fun to watch. I honestly thought that was a battle for position there for a moment. Eisler's teammate Kvyat now behind him, and Modov honestly has started to drop Corey just a bit, rounding well over a second after those two honestly were nose to wing.
Yeah,
for
indeed.
most of this race so far.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the only way that we could have seen maybe to help Kvyat out a little bit was when Eisler was holding Modov just a little bit. And Sean, another way to tell them apart: one has a nose, one does not. As we see them come out of turn 16.
This is true. Yeah. Maybe I won't fly as high in my blimp next time and get a better shot at that nose. But yeah, that's a distinct difference between the two. Let's go all the way back to 19th right now. Galaz holding off Carl Schwing at the moment. Schwing almost makes contact there to the bumper of Galaz, and boy, he gets on the binders just enough to avoid that contact.
Yes, indeed. Both of them going off as we see Schwing decide to go down pit road. I think that might have been a good call for him after he made that contact. Maybe see if he had any damage as Hugo Galaz gets real loose out of turn 16 coming down the front straightaway. He was able to continue on. Another driver I'm watching right now is Mr. Consistency. He's gained 10 positions here tonight. Started in 27th, now up to the 17th position. He's got his eyes set on Leif Peterson as they make their way down towards Charlotte's Web, and coming out of there right now, he's closing in a little bit on Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, I think the pit stop cycles have helped Thacker here a little bit, but you know what? He's had a decent run, and well, it's been quiet. It's been quiet enough that we haven't really talked much about him. I'll tell you what, Leif Peterson just locked him up right in front of him. A little bit more ground gain there for Thacker, and you're absolutely right, Taylor. I think these two are about to hook up if the pit stop doesn't get him first.
Battle for P10 starting to heat up a little bit right now. Fernando Borda and Takeshi Kita are starting to go back at it again, along with Corey Clark. Corey Clark getting on the back bumper of Kita. He's going to look to the outside of Kita through the Alabama roller coaster towards the run uphill, back downhill to Charlotte's Web as Fernando Borda tries to find a way to get by Cristobal Valenzuela. These four drivers has not been away from each other the entire race, and of course right in front of them all is still Thomas Ellison, who's been kind of watching all four of these Porsches right behind him all night.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's the Ford GTE or I'm sorry, no, is he in a Ferrari? He is in a Ferrari. My bad, Ellison in that Ferrari, leading these four Porsches who look pretty hungry to try and take them over, but their own battle right now has got them slowed down. So right now, Ellison, like you said, that big smile on the New York driver's face as he approaches now just under 20 minutes to go in this one.
And right behind these four Porsches is another Ferrari. This is the Raleigh, North Carolina native, Tyler DeZube. He's closing in on the back of these four Porsches as they now make their way past the pit road entry. None of them decide to come down at the moment, but Tyler's doing a real good job in that Fluffy Kitty Ninjas Ferrari. Gotta say, that's one of the most interesting and most fun names I've ever seen in sim racing. But still, as they make the run down towards turn one, he is closing little bit by little bit on the four Porsche parade.
I think the dominoes will fall when Modov and Ott make their way in. Start to wonder if both are on the same strategy here, or if we'll see Ott maybe try and keep that car out a little bit longer. I mean, they still have clean air in front of them. Does Ott sit back there and think maybe he could turn a faster lap or two by staying out a little bit longer on Modoff or following him in? Is the strategy to go with? We'll find out soon, really soon, because time winding down, so are the laps, so is the fuel on these cars, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. But Carl Modoff has a little bit of an advantage. He had the pleasure of battling with one of the best fuel savers I've ever seen in motor racing on iRacing, Jesper Jurlicka. So I'm pretty sure Carl Modoff studied a little bit of what Jesper was able to do and might take a little bit of a play out of that playbook in order to see if he could try to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, let's go back to the battle for P10. Really, really heating up at the moment. In fact, Corey Clark really trying to get something here on Takeshi Kita. He rode right up to the rear wing and thought about getting around Takeshi. Moved over in his line just a little bit, able to block him off. I think this is the part of the battle that we probably need to focus on. It's still good up in front of him with Borda and Valenzuela still slugging it out, but Kita is really having to play good defense. Oh, trouble for Borda. Woo, and that's
Kita.
And that borks Kita, and there goes Corey Clark.
And here comes Tyler DeZive as well as we go to the replay.
Yeah, it all starts with Fernando Borda. He's going to have a big lock up here coming downhill. And that really gets Takeshi offline and off pace. To boot, lets Corey Clark get on by. Corey had been fighting hard. He'll take it however he can get it. Takeshi, unfortunately, losing another spot. That puts him down to P12. But both those drivers, Clark, Kita, up 11 spots. Oh, and behind, boy, Kita almost gets run into as Tyler DeZube heads into the pits. That was a close moment.
Yes, indeed. And also some of our leaders are going through a little bit of lap traffic right now. The leaders are just now passing James LeBlanc, the 007 Porsche. They're just making the run down towards Museum Corner, as well as lapping Hugo Galaz as well. So a couple of cars are going to be lapped down before this is all said and done. But of course, these leaders have to pit, so they'll be back on the lead lap here momentarily.
Leif Peterson just hits his box. Texas driver gets that Porsche in. Coming out, DeZube. He is our highest pitter now. Let's see, he'll cycle out into P16. So your top 15 still looking to come in. Just 16 minutes left, under 16 now. About 12 laps to go. We haven't talked about our leaders much here lately. It is still Modoff. You know, Mike Griffin, we talked a little about him, except for when he caught those two, Modoff and Ott. Griffith still hanging on back there. But boy, they've dropped it by about 7 seconds now at this point.
I tell you what, Corey Clark did an excellent save going into pit road. He got it loose going through turn 14, went into the pit road entry, and was drifting it just about through the entire corner before he got into the barrier area of pit entry.
Yeah, let's catch this replay here. He was really slow before that getting in. I'm wondering, oh, you know what? He had trouble on track. Yeah, we caught it. In fact, he clips the grass. He's going to get a couple of tires off in the grass, and that sent him spinning. He's got to catch the car. Does a great job of saving it. And a little slow getting back to the pit lane, but obviously it was time for him to come in, and maybe that weighed on his mind a little bit heavy. Corey going to lose a bunch of positions out of that.
Our leaders still keep on going. Under 15 minutes left to go. Makes you wonder. I think they might be coming in within the next 2 laps as Mike Griffith comes in.
There we go. There's
our
one
third place
domino.
driver. So probably the next time by, we should see our leaders come down pit road.
Valenzuela and Borda come in right next to each other. And that's it. Everybody else decides to stay out this time around. We'll take a look at Montini here, see if maybe he responds to Griffith coming in. Federico Montini sitting in P3 now. Francisco's, now he's had a little bit less luck than Federico's had. He's back at P19 right now after his pit stop. Federico holding off Jorge Flores. Flores done a good job of keeping that Ferrari clean.
Corey Ott's coming in. Corey Ott decided to come from second place as we see Karl Modov continue on. He's going to try to do one more lap at least. So
Flores came in.
And
there's Corey Ott.
Also, Jean-Marc Tremblay as well comes down pit road. Simon Avital continues on, so that makes Mike Griffith currently your highest pitter.
That's a long stop for Mike Griffith. Wonder if he had some damage to deal with on that car. Although I'm looking at it, I think that was a speeding penalty. It looks to be about 15 seconds longer than everybody else.
That is,
man, we have got a log jam here on track, though. It's right now it's kind of back of the pack, but Danny Duchesne has got Carl Schwing right behind him. They almost just made contact. They were 3 wide with Karl Modov. Remember, folks, Karl Modov currently our leader. Still needing to stop, and boy, that was a tense moment there. Modov was in the middle of all that. He's kind of just riding behind, and there he goes. Modov has said, "I've had enough of that. My friend's windshield is clean now. I'm heading into the box."
All right, this is the moment to see what happens. Can we see Corey Ott get back to the bumper of Karl Modov when he completes this stop? We'll have to keep an eye on the track and the relatives to see how close he gets to him. Karl's still getting to his pit box. He just now enters his box.
Oh, no! Corey Ott with trouble! Corey Ott with trouble coming out of turn 15. Coming into the pits, he slides it in. Wow! Modov is out clean.
Now, this is something different. Let's take a look.
Ooh. Wow. You talk about coming in hot. I mean, I don't even know if the wheels were down yet, but they he just misses the end of that pit wall. Maybe just fractions of an inch. He misses the end of the pit lane. He was off the grass just before that there, yeah.
As
wow.
Oh my goodness.
Drifts it in with style, baby.
Yeah, that would be a 10 in any drifting competition. So I would say that was some excellent driving right there by Corey Ott.
Down to P6. Yeah, that was his second stop. He's down to P6 now. And here comes Federico Montini, the leader in with 10 minutes to go. I think Modov's going to take care of that and go back to the lead. Going to catch Federico in the pit. Federico still rolling to his box. Modov going to go by. And Jorge Flores trying to go to second. We'll see if he can catch Federico Montini, who's down and away. Flores coming across the start-finish line now. Federico Montini up to speed. And he's going to hold on to it. Federico Montini, P2.
This is going to be quite the battle to watch if Jorge Flores can catch up to the back bumper of Montini as they make the run down towards Charlotte's Web. Montini has multiple car lanes over Jorge Flores, but Jorge gets late into the brake zone of Charlotte's Web. Next, a nice smooth line through there and now makes the run down towards the museum corner. It is still going to be Montini holding on to second place. And, of course, Karl Modov has a large lead over these two right now.
I really think this is put the battle back right now for P5, to be honest with you. That seems like where it's really hustling at the moment. Simon Avital trying to hold off Corey Ott. Ott trying to get back those positions he's lost.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do and not enough time to do it.
Yeah, he really doesn't have a lot of time, does he? In fact, boy, he's well over 10 seconds behind Montini and Flores at the moment. But he is tracking well on Avital.
He might be able to squeeze him in going into turn 1 as they're going to turn 15, now into turn 16. He gets right to the back bumper of Avital coming out of there. Going to utilize a little bit of slipstream to get down this short chute of the front straightaway before hitting the brakes right about now into turn 1. Make the run up through the Alabama roller coaster. He's going to look to the inside. Now this could be a chance to make the pass, but it looks like he gets the door shut on him. Avital gets right back down on across his nose. What a excellent defensive driving, but Corey Ott is not done yet. And right behind them is Mike Griffith. He's gotten into the picture now. He's going to look to the inside as we see Avital getting late on the brakes. A little contact.
Mike almost went over there.
We've seen Mike in some hairy situations starting on lap 1, and he is not done yet. He's going to give Corey Ott and Simon Avital a piece of his mind right now. It looks like Corey's got a chance now. He's got a nose. Ooh, gets loose, though, has to back off.
I told you this is where the battle went. We went back to P5. Ott driving with that chip. He's driving. He's on the chip, baby. Trying to track down Avital, get away with a pass. We talked in the pre-race about how tough it is to pass here, and Simon Avital definitely showing why. Mike Griffin back there trying to stick his nose in. You saw that, didn't you, Taylor?
Yes, he did. He had to check up because he knew he could have probably cut the nose off of his Porsche. He's now going to look to the inside down the front straightaway, now slip back into line. It's the brakes now. Corey Ott, the Australia-New Zealand club driver, ooh, gets almost right to the back bumper, makes contact with the Canadian of Simon Avital. Through the Alabama roller coaster they go. Griffith gets a great run. He's going to try to look to the inside now and to make the run to Charlotte's Web. Corey Ott also going to look to the inside of Avital. Who's going to be the bravest one out of 3 of them?
Oh, boy.
I think that Corey Ott is going to be the bravest.
Avital kind of decides to move over there a little bit, maybe try and fight back another day here. Corey fought hard. Finally takes the spot. Now Avital got a mirror full of Mike Griffith.
Yeah, Mike Griffith is going to be all over the back bumper of that Ferrari through the 9 and 10 chicanes. Gets a little bit wide, as well as Avital. He gets a little bit of the grass, making the run towards turn 11 and 12. He's backing off just a little bit, but gets a great run on the uphill section. Through turn 13 and 14 they go. Gets into the grass even more. He's got to be careful not to get, he loses the car a little bit.
And they're rolling up on Bautista here. Bautista got decisions to make, and he's going to just get out of the way. Let these two continue to fight. Avital, tell you what, nothing to be sorry about for that Canadian. He has had one whale of a race, up 6 spots here, fighting for the top 5. Corey Ott not exactly running away yet, but Avital still makes a mistake every now and then. It's costing him. Mike Griffith right on his tail. Griffith looking, and nothing here yet. Can he get this sorted out before the turn? He's going to go around the outside. Avital's going to let him go.
Yeah, I think Avital realized the situation. He knows Mike Griffith is a lot faster than he is. Lets the Pennsylvania driver go on through.
All right, let's move up the field just a little bit. Jorge Flores trying to hold off Federico Montini and Jean-Marc Tremblay. They're all very close here. Let's face it, Karl Modov 15.5 seconds ahead of him. He's checked out on the field. He's just got to hang on for another 4.5 minutes. But Flores, Montini, and Tremblay all battle out for
trouble in 9 and 10. Justin Hall and Lee Lucas make contact as Lucas is able to continue on. Justin Hall is turned around. He's going to try to get the car straight now.
Hall's going to lose it. He's going to hit the curb. He hits that inside curb on the left side. Going to ride up on it. Over. The car gets loose.
That could have been a lot worse between these two. It's a little hard right now to see in the trees. And then you see right there goes Justin Hall. He gets it loose after hitting the curb. Lucas makes contact with him. Still able to continue, and Swaby was able to get by with no problems at all.
Yeah, and it unfortunately cost Lee some really, really good spots there as we go on board with him. The contact wasn't horrible. Not a lot of damage from it, but it's the positions lost that Lee had to deal with by getting slowed down. You're going to see the train come by him. Jerome Berthune, Takeshi Kita, Francisco Montini all roll by. He drops 3 spots there.
Yeah, Takeshi Kita's in a really good battle with Jerome, as well as Francisco Montini. As they're making them run down Museum Corner, Montini gets a little bit late on the brakes, has to cut the course almost. He might have to take a penalty. But Takeshi Kita's all over the back bumper of that Ford GT through the 9 and 10 chicanes they go. Almost loses the car a little bit.
Takeshi Kita, he's been in the middle of a battle all night, it seems like. Some real good ones. But it's yielded for him right now is a P15 spot. Seemed like with all the battling he's been doing, he'd be better, but now he's making a move on Jerome.
As Jorge Flores is in second position.
No, Flores has had a spin. I think we're going to pick up that replay now. In fact, we are. Flores, like many others this evening, going to have a little bit of trouble finding some of the grass, some of the curb. The car gets around into the Armco barrier. Minimal damage. He doesn't hit it hard. He kisses it. Able to get the car back out on track and back underway. On board with him here. He's just going to swing it out a little bit too far to the left here, Dell. Yeah, a little bit of a bobble there in a turn, yeah. Wow. That's going to drop Flores back to P4. Federico Montini still hanging on to that second spot. But now Jean-Marc Tremblay, another Canadian. Now we're talking about him, and we're talking about a podium, a possible podium. If he just hang on here for another minute, just over a minute and a half to go in this race. 2 laps at the line.
The Hispano-America Club driver versus the Canadian. Porsche versus Ferrari. Through the Alabama roller coaster they go again. Federico doing a really good job, unlike his brother Francisco, who's had a little bit of a rough night tonight, but still is able to overcome adversity. Federico carrying the flag for the Montini brothers here tonight at Barber, but still has to worry about Jean-Marc Tremblay. Through Charlotte's Web they go again. They have to go through there at least one more time. And, of course, Carl Modoff, he's in his own zip code at the moment.
Yeah, and we'll pick Carl up in a moment, but it's P4 right now that is not settled. I think Coriott's got a shot at Jorge Flores here. Flores, of course, trying to hang on. But Coriott, Mike Griffith, of course, Griffith has had pace all night. I don't think this is done yet. When they get to the line, it'll be 1 to go. They'll grab the white flag. Flores focused at the moment.
Oh, we got a car off right in front of them. That looks like to be Joey Trungale. He's able to go off course, no problem at all. They continue on. Corey Ott still trying to find a way to get past Jorge Flores. White flag this time by.
Modoff picking that white flag up. Federico Montini still trying to hold off Tremblay, but this battle for 4th continues. Flores, Ott, Griffith. And Griffith really pushing back there. You can see him. That black, white, and red Porsche. Just driving the wheels off it. Smoking the brakes at every turn. Coriott sends it in deep. Not deep enough, though, and Flores gets a great exit. Able to get on it. Modoff with less than a half a lap to go. Coming out of turn 14. Carl Modoff, I'll tell you what, he had a fight on his hands for a while. But boy, that went away. He passes the pit stop. 18 seconds ahead, comes out of the final turn, down the front straight, across the start-finish line. Carl Modoff, your winner here in round 2 at Barber Motorsports Park. Federico Montini, another great run for him. And he is going to try to keep Jean-Marc Tremblay in the mirror. Final turn, back onto the straightaway, and yes, Federico Montini is going to get that P2 finish, and Jean-Marc Tremblay will beat your podium, Taylor.
Yes, indeed, and the battle between Jorge Flores, Corey Ott, and Mike Griffith finish out as we see Corey Ott break the car and spin it out a little bit out of turn 1, but still was able to hold on. Simon Avital coming home in the 7th position, along with Thomas Ellison as well, coming across the line. Really great race here, Sean. Man, can't wait to see what happens.
Well, it was a good one here at Barber Motorsports Park. Round 2 in the books. Drivers getting ready to interview with us here at GSRC. But for just a moment, we're going to step away, take a quick break. We'll be right back with the final results and those aforementioned driver interviews. See you in a moment.
coming for a splash. Three, two, one, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
And we're back here at Barber Motorsports Park, the Precision Racing League Tuesday night series, the GTEs getting things done here this evening, and here are your results. A great one in the books indeed. Karl Modoff with a big win. He'll do it 19 seconds ahead of Federico Montini, who had a great run of his own. Jean-Marc Tremblay, third place for the 927. Jorge Flores, a fourth place run for the 929. Couriot makes a mistake. It costs him. He'll drop to P5 because of it. Mike Griffith, hard driving all night for the number 117. He'll finish sixth. Simon Evital, that's number 23. He'll finish seventh. Thomas Ellison in eighth this evening. Cristobal Valenzuela, a ninth place run. And Fernando Borda going to round out the top 10, Taylor.
Yes, indeed. Finishing in the 11th position is Tyler DeZube, followed by Michael Derby coming home in 12th position. Lyndon Swaby will come home in 13th position, followed by Takeshi Kita. Francisco Montini will come home in 15th, followed by Lee Lucas. Jerome Butnay will come home in 17th, followed by Corey Clark and Justin Hall. Rounding out your top 20 will be Rodrigo Munoz.
All right, and we'll drop down to 21st place now, Taylor, and there you find Aaron Thacker. Well, he was consistent, but it's only good enough for 21st. Lucio Vargas, a 22nd place run for him. Carl Schwing, 23rd. 24th, go to Danny Duchesne. James LeBlanc, 25th tonight. 26th for Lee Peterson. Curlin Andrew, 27th place run. 28th goes to Christian Eisler. Trouble early. Knocks the front end off. Can't recover from it. He'll finish 28th tonight. A tough run for Eisler, but he does finish the race. Hugo Galaz, 29th. Karsten Quint, 30th. 31st, going to go to Elijah Bautista. And then we got 32nd, 33rd is going to be Joey Trungell and Sebastian Maciera. Nick Schmegan didn't get off the start. Trouble for him early. Finds himself rounding out the 34-car field. And you know what, Taylor? Lots of excitement tonight. Great race. Round two, a good one. This track, though, it claimed its victims along the way, didn't it?
Yes, indeed, it did. A lot of drivers, especially some heavy hitters in the points, took a very deep nosedive here tonight. So they're going to have to make sure they rebound when we go to Watkins Glen next week.
Yeah, and of course, we head to Watkins Glen. The familiarity with that course, well, let's face it. If you haven't figured Watkins Glen out, then you haven't been racing much on the iRacing service. It's been around for a long time. But, Taylor, will that bring out an even bigger field? I mean, that's what you've got to ask yourself. In a big field at Watkins Glen, well, that can mean trouble. There are a couple of spots where, well, let's face it, getting up through the S's, big fields don't generally do well through the S's, heading up to the back straight there.
No, indeed. And you think that Barber Motorsports Park was a tight course. Watkins Glen, it's way more tighter and way more difficult for passing opportunities. So these drivers are going to have to make sure they are focused, have that car tuned right in qualifying in order to have the best starting position for them. And of course, if I remember correctly, a couple of seasons ago, lap traffic was a major issue for those drivers as well, to where it even cost the top three even major implications for them, where it cost them even wins and even finishing the race.
Well, Taylor, we certainly want to thank our friends at the iRacing Esports Network for this great partnership between them and the Global Sim Racing Channel and many other broadcasters here on IESN. And folks, listen, if you want to get up at about 5:45 in the morning Eastern Standard Time, you can do that in the morning. Get up early, maybe while you're getting ready for work. Flip on YouTube here on the iRacing Esports Network. You can catch the West End Mazda Australian Online Supercars and the Supercar Championship, brought to us by our friends over at SimSpeed TV. They've got you covered, and like I said, that's an early start here in the States for us at 5:45 a.m. Eastern Time. Listen, lots of people to thank. Oh, and you know what? I think, actually, before we thank anybody, I think we might have an interview here. I think Jean-Marc Tremblay has come by to visit us. Maybe we could take a stab at trying to interview him here real quick. All right, and we've caught up with Jean-Marc Tremblay, our third-place finisher. Jean, have you got us?
Hi guys. Yeah, I was a bit lucky. Just like the DGFX race this weekend, seems like I was able to capitalize on other guys' misfortune.
Hey, but you'll take it though, man. That was a great run. It was a solid. This is a tough track. Talk to some of the fans out there about how tough this track is. What are the real challenges here?
Pretty much everywhere. And especially that this is my first race on this track, so I'm pretty happy with the result.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with your result too, being this was your first race on this track. Man, you got it sorted out. That Porsche looked good tonight, and you're going to get a nice shot in the arm here in the points. It's early in the season. We head into Watkins Glen. You got to take advantage of this opportunity. You're going to be there next week.
Of course, yeah, I'll be there, and me and my teammate. Unfortunately for him, he looks like he got a little bit of light at the crest there, but he did recover and finish behind me. So we'll try to have a good show next weekend, next week.
Well, congratulations on your P3 tonight and finishing on the podium. Anybody you'd like to thank, Jean-Marc?
My teammates at SRT for giving me a great setup. And yeah, thank you to you guys for broadcasting.
All right, and our thanks to Jean-Marc Tremblay coming in and talking to us real quick. But Taylor, that's all we got time for this evening. Lots of people to thank, especially SIMSA.net, Simulation Motorsports Association. Find them on the web again at simsa.net. That's SIMMSA.net. Of course, the Precision Racing League for choosing to fly with the Global Sim Racing Channel. We thank them, and we'll be back with them Thursday night in their Radicals, and we'll tell you about that in a moment. But we want to thank the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast, and they're listed on the screen for you right now. We want to give additional thanks to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks today to Taylor, to Joe, especially Joe, for having to do this change up last minute, and of course the great Dougie Beard. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at the at globalsimracingchannel.com. Don't want to throw any extra words in there. Or you can check us out on our social media accounts. Of course, we're on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook. You know what? If you just go over there and type in Global Sim Racing Channel, you'll find us. I promise. Find us on Instagram at GSRC_Graham. Now, we'll be back with the Precision Racing League American iRacing Thursday series. That's the Radicals. Yes, the SR8 Radicals. And we're at Tsukuba, the 2000 circuit, the complete 2000 circuit. That's Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, back here on the iRacing Esports Network. All right, now the next race for the Precision Racing League Tuesday night series, the GTEs, well, we talked about it. We're going to be at Watkins Glen. They've thrown in the boot. That's next Tuesday, January 15th, 9 Eastern. We'll see you then. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on your screen. Check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. Race fans, thanks for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate you. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.